Welcome everyone to the PJ's Cast. I'm your host Pierce, alongside of my good pal Dylan. And now I would love to talk about the Connor McDavid extension. I would also like to talk about the Toronto Blue Jays taking a 2-0 series lead over the New York Yankees. But you know what? I think an appropriate way to start this off is talking about Ryan Green being on the team because Landon Slaggett is hurt. Yeah, let's talk about that. What do you think about that move, huh?
You know, when I went into today, the only thing I could think was how is this news going to affect the Blackhawks? Yeah, McDavid signed. Yeah, this. Yeah.
Yeah, this, that, and the other.
Green's on the opening night roster. It's national news, international news, if you will. Um, Slager's on IR. Doesn't sound like Vlasic's playing Tuesday. Get excited.
You're going to the game. How are we feeling going in tomorrow?
Without Vlasic, not as good. If I'm being honest, I don't like first pairing Matt Grzelcyk against the Florida Panthers. Their best left-handed defenseman right now is Wyatt Kaiser without Vlasic, so that's a little concerning. But I mean, it's game one of the season. Can't not be excited. Very excited to watch the defensemen on the right side that are healthy. And I think Spencer Knight's going to have a big game. I think he's going to play with a chip on his shoulder tomorrow night. I mean, it's his first game back in Florida. I know he had a lot of good memories there, but there's got to be a part of you that's like, I thought I was, the franchise goalie for this team, and a lot changed over the course of a 4-year span or so. So it'll be very interesting tomorrow night, but I'm excited.
So just going over the lines, Donato, Bedard, Burakovsky, Teravainen, Nazar, Bertuzzi, that's kind of been the top six at the beginning of training camp. And even if you don't agree with the lines, at the very least, Jeff Blashill is bringing some continuity to the lines, which none of the coaches did last year at all. So that's a start. Third line is Colton Dock, Jason Dickinson, Ilya Mikheyev. Then fourth line, Nick Foligno, Ryan Green, and Sam Lafferty. Looks like Reichel is the odd man out. We'll kind of touch on that after. First pairing Grzelcyk with Rinzel, Kaiser, Shunoff, which it seems like they've been running for the entire preseason, and Del Mastro and Murphy on the third pairing, and then Vlasic and Crevier are the extras. So yeah, looks like they carried two extra defensemen just on the off chance that Vlasic wouldn't be able to go for opening day. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like he's going to be going opening day. Power play one, it's Bedard, Rinsell, Teravainen, and Nazar, Bertuzzi. So you pretty much have all your best forwards and one defenseman on that unit. And then first penalty killing unit is Dickinson, Mikheyev, Murphy, and Del Mastro. So what do you think about the lines? We didn't really touch much on Lucas Reichel and what his future is with the Blackhawks. And really over this summer, anytime we talked about the lines going into this year, anytime Lucas Reichel was brought up, I'm like, oh, I honestly forgot he was on the team because I kind of just assumed that they would have moved on from him already. And seen tweets from Frank Saravalli or whatever, he goes on his show saying that the Blackhawks are looking at what they can do to move on from him, potentially get a new fresh start. Hell, if they can somehow get like a diet Dylan Strome for Nick Schmaltz trade. Not that I think that's going to happen. That could be awesome. I was just thinking of some names, maybe like Igor Chinikov from Columbus who requested a trade. I don't know, but at this point, I just think they're probably going to trade him for a late round pick. And it's kind of disappointing because we really thought he was going to be a part of this Blackhawks future, a fixture in the top six. And the way he played in Rockford, the way he played in Germany before he came over to North America, and that stint he had at the end of 22-23, where I think he had like 15 or 16 points in 22 or 23 games or whatever it was. There was so much promise, and 23-24 didn't deliver. And then last year, he's pretty much using a fourth line role, which honestly he didn't do bad with considering his line mates were Pat Byrne and Craig Smith, but they've gone through, this is a third different head coach now, whether that's Richardson, Sorensen, and now Blashill. They're not playing him. So I don't know. What do you think? Do you think they're just going to trade him for a late round pick or whatever? What do you think?
Well, Blashill did have a talk with him today about how he can fit in a bottom six role in this team. So I think they looked at the market and just said, we got to make this work. I think the Slaggert injury might have saved him a little bit.
Yeah.
The fact that he got banged up, just to have Reichel as an extra. And if I'm being honest, like there's no reason to trade him unless there is an actual like player for player trade out there. I don't see an advantage to you getting a 6th-round pick for this player.
No.
I would much rather him be on the 4th line, which he has proven he can do,
Mhm.
than trade him for pennies on the dollar. And I just feel like at the end of the day, it isn't the top 6 forward we thought he was going to be. There's a lot of like you can blame his play, you can blame coaching. There's a lot of different things that went into that.
Lots of blame go around, yeah.
I think like his play is the biggest one, but they did 0 favors in 23, 24. They played him at center for 30 games when all of us knew this guy was going to be a winger on the NHL roster. And I know it was out of need at the time, but it clearly stinted his development. It stinted his confidence, and he hasn't really recovered from that. This will be the 3rd year since then, and he shows those spurts of speed. But at the end of the day, if you can't put those together and make scoring chances out of those, if you can't go to the dirty areas with that speed, there's very limited roles you can have on a team. That's what made someone like Brandon Hagel so important, or like Brandon Saad. And I bring these players up because their speed, they have the same qualities as Reichel. They have this very great trait in their speed, and they use it in different ways. I mean, Saad became a great 2-way forward, unless you talk to Pierre Maguire. And
Oh my God.
Hagel has turned into a point of game player, but at the time, Hagel was using his speed to get to the dirty areas. He was using it to get high danger scoring chances, and it made him the best player on the ice most nights. We're watching it right now with Frank Nazar, how useful your speed can be if you use it in specific situations. Like, I really hope this coaching staff just kind of looks at Reichel and says, when Mikheyev leaves next year, we can get Reichel in that role. And if we can mold him into that, that's such an advantage going forward that I think you can honestly have the opportunity to do this year. And you don't have to play him 82 games. Clearly, it's not what they're going to do. But I think a player like that's useful, especially when you start getting injuries. It's going to be a real shame if you start losing a lot of speed in this lineup and you traded someone who could have had speed when an injury came up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just looking at his points, 22 points in 70 games, like not crazy, but again, him playing primarily 4th-line minutes. I haven't looked into the advanced stats, but I'd be curious what his like points are like per 60 and 5-on-5 ice time. I wouldn't think they'd be that bad if he's just playing 4th-line minutes. You got 22 points in 70 games. Like I think that's pretty good for your 4th-liners, especially considering he didn't get any power play time either much.
Yeah, I mean, he got little to no power play time. And I think that's another knock on the coaching staff, the fact that we didn't get a sustained time with him and Bedard on the power play. I think the max we got was probably 3 games in a row of that, which I think is, 1, unacceptable, but 2, I get it. This prospect wasn't a part of this regime at the end of the day, but this prospect or this player now, because he's not really a prospect, he has traits that can be useful for an NHL team. And for a GM that is going out of his way to get Ilya Mikheyevs and Sam Lafferty's, he clearly knows he needs speed in the lineup. Sometimes I have trouble seeing the disconnect with the player and the management, but I'm just hoping that this is a sign that they're going to give him this year. And if it's not this year, then I think his contract's up at the end of this year. So,
yeah,
you can kind of make your decision from there.
Yeah, there's been a lot of examples of players that are just so fast and you think the skill is going to match up with the speed and it never really works out to be that way. Lucas Reichel, yeah, that's a good example. I was thinking Kasperi Kapanen on the Oilers.
But can I make a point about Kapanen?
Yeah.
No, because you're 100% right. Kapanen had this high upside, right? He was a 1st-round pick. The Leafs played him in the top 6 time and time again. There was a full stint where it was Kapanen, Matthews, Johnson or something like that, right? And it didn't work. But, it took a couple stints with a couple different organizations. He was with Pittsburgh again, and now he's with Edmonton. He's finding a role with Edmonton. And I think that matters for a player with that skill set. Like, Kapanen's play style today is completely different than what it was in 2018. And that matters. Because if he didn't adapt, he'd be playing in Europe right now. Let's be honest. But that skill set's very tangible. and he was open to changing his role. And now he's, when the injuries become what they are, he's playing with Draisaitl and scoring the game-winning goal in the second round. The point I'm trying to make is you need players like that. And if the player's open to adapting to what the team needs at the time, it could be a very dangerous combination in a good way for the Hawks.
Yeah, you got to be malleable, and kind of to go back to the point, we always talk about, okay, size, you're big for what? If you're not using your size to, and using your stick to knock the puck off players and not using your side to box out players in front of the net, especially as a defenseman, what are you doing? And I think the same thing goes for speed. You're fast for what? Yeah, you can just blow past defenseman, but if you're skating yourself into the corner and just losing the puck anyways, what's the point? You got to be able to get to the net. And like you said with Frank Nazar, that's what makes him so special is he has that speed, but he's also able to get into the inside. And I think of someone like Michael Frolik, not that I think he was the same player as Lucas Reichel, but I remember when he was younger, he was regarded as a goal scorer, but was never really able to reach that. But was able to become a pretty successful bottom six penalty killer and scored a couple of penalty shots goals for the Blackhawks in the playoffs. So, yeah, if you're not going to get to where you think you are, you got to adapt. I don't expect Reichel to be in the top six. It would be nice just to see him get a couple more chances, but again, I just don't think that's going to happen. We've had 3 different coaching staffs now, and that hasn't happened. But yeah, Lucas Reichel can be an effective bottom six player who can, I think, get 20, 30 points. I mean, he again got 22 last year. If he's just a regular guy who's playing in the lineup almost every day, I think he could get 30 points. But yeah, it just, I don't know. I think if there is an option to maybe swap him for another underperforming guy at the same age as Reichel, I think they're going to do it and try to maybe find a new situation for him. But yeah, what do you think about the rest of the lines? Because I know you're not a huge fan of Burakovsky on the first line. Like we're perfectly fine with Donato and Bedard being together. It's you got Bertuzzi, Nazar, and Teravainen. At least it's nice to see some continuity in the top six, and that's kind of been the top six. What do you think about the bottom six lines with Doc, Dickinson, Mikheyev, and then you got Foligno, Green, and Lafferty now?
Yeah, I mean, so with Doc on the third line now, I actually kind of like that. I think it could be a very good checking line. The speed with Mikheyev, Doc's physicality, he's shown there's a reason he made the team out of camp outright. He should be in the bottom six every game this year, just with the type of game he brings. If you look at it on paper, Foligno and Lafferty being in over prospects is probably not ideal, but until the deadline, that's kind of just the way things are going to go. I know it's Foligno's last season, or at least they're alluding to that. So, it'll be a fun way out as the captain, but at the same time, he's going to play 60 plus games over someone who could very well use that time. Ryan Green's up right now, but he's only going to get a couple games before they send him back down. Same goes for players like Oliver Moore, players like I think Sam Savoy is going to earn a chance to get called up this year at some point. There's different players that I think deserve chances over some of these bottom six guys, but for the meantime, the kids didn't earn it out of camp outright. So, then at least in the eyes of the coaching staff. So for the meantime, it's fine. Burakovsky, I'm just indifferent on. I've been indifferent on the move from. I don't know. It's if he gets back to form from 4 years ago, which I need to make that point. It was 4 years ago when he was that good. Cool. But in my eyes, this is a guy that's going to get us like 12 goals, 20 assists. If he does more, awesome. But I would feel more comfortable with this top six if you swap Burakovsky and Bertuzzi. And I know the second line has had great chemistry with Nazar, but I think I've watched that line all preseason, and the chemistry's still not there. Burakovsky's not going where Bedard and Donato are expecting him to go. At least that's what it looks like from my eyes and other Blackhawks fans' eyes. But clearly, maybe they're being told to do something else. I don't know, but you just think of all the talent that's in this prospect pool. You think of all the talent that you could put with him on this roster right now. I'm not the biggest fan of Burakovsky in that spot. And I can't get too mad because by this time next year, it's probably Frondell in that spot. So it's fine. But for the meantime, this is year 3 of Bedard playing with people he shouldn't probably be playing with. And I think you and I talk about this every time. It just, at some point, it just gets a little disappointing. Like, and maybe it changes, maybe it doesn't. But I just, Connor McDavid only had to play with people like Pat Maroon for so long before they said, we're just going to glue you to Draisaitl and Hyman for a while. I don't know. Same with Crosby.
Yeah, they played with Kunitz and Dupuis for enough, and then he finally got Jake Gensel to play on his wing. It just, we've been saying this right since we've gotten Bedard. Like, you need a winger. I'm tired of Carl Davidson being like, damn, these 2021 Thanksgiving leftovers are hitting different with going out onto the market and finding wingers. But like you said, could be Frundell in the NHL next year. Could be a few other guys too. Could be Nick Lardis. Could be Roman Kantsarov, who was point per game in the KHL, and Frundell.
Could be Colton Dock.
Yeah,
a lot of options for that other wing spot.
Anton Frundell scored a Michigan goal and was like, "Oh, that's not good enough. Let's follow that up with a hat trick."
Yeah, I was about to say.
Wonder what
is Goose, and Goose is overseas right now on a tour, so he'll be back in March.
Yeah, I wonder what idiot would be worried about Anton Frundell not producing in the SHL. Wow. But yeah, and it would have been nice to see Oliver Moore make the team. I think we'll see him up later. Probably same with Nick Lardis.
If he's not up by Christmas, I'd be shocked, if I'm being honest.
Especially if injuries are a part of it. That's always going to be a part of it. But Nazar, he wasn't bad last preseason, but he wasn't great. And I like that there does have to be the standard. They have to be great to make the team. And we saw that with the defensemen, especially Renzel. You got to be great to make the team. So at least there's that. I'd rather them be playing top 6 minutes in the AHL than potentially playing bottom 6 minutes, not getting that much, and then getting scratched. So I can't really disagree there. Again, I can disagree with the lineups, but again, it's at least nice that they're going to try it for at least a few games. And if it doesn't work, hopefully they move on and find a new combination that works.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first game, so we'll see. We'll probably have this discussion at the end of the month, and that'll kind of give us an idea of what needs to happen with the team. But for now, we'll see. That's just kind of how I'm looking at the lines.
Mm-hmm.
Happy Renzel and Levchinov look like they're going to be playing top 4 minutes on the right side. Bedard and Nazar are playing top 6 minutes at center. Those two things alone can get me excited enough about this team to want to see the growth.
Yeah, it's always going to be the forwards. Again, the goaltending, Spencer Knight and Arvid Soderblom, feeling pretty good about that. The defense, hopefully once Vlasic gets healthy, you're going Vlasic, Renzel, and then Kaiser and Levchinov. I respect the hell out of Jeff Blashill and really even the coaches last year for playing those two together, because it really is the most chaotic pairing. I respect them for trying it, because I think a lot could happen bad, but I think a lot of good could happen as well. It's just going to be chaos out there. And then Dale Mastro and Murphy, kind of just hopefully another shutdown pairing like Vlasic, Renzel, maybe less offense, but a little more defense. I don't know. Do you have any more notes on the Blackhawks at this point? I just want to see the games being played. They got 3 games this week. Obviously, they play Florida Panthers tomorrow, and they raise the cup banner. Then they play the Bruins on Thursday, and then they host the Montreal Canadiens on Saturday.
And if I had $1 for every time they played Boston game 2 of the year on the road, I'd actually have a decent amount of money. I feel like that happens way more than it should.
I'd have 2 nickels. Yeah. What do you think they go this week? Maybe it's just the delusion talking, the voices talking. I think they're going to get a 2-1 start. I'm trying to be optimistic.
You know what? Fuck it. We'll go 1 across the board.
1-1-1? I think
that win comes against Boston. If it comes tomorrow, I'm happy, but I'm fully expecting a loss tomorrow night.
Yeah. I think they need to beat Boston, because I don't think Boston's going to be very good in Montreal.
Morgan Geeky hat trick go brrr.
Yeah. Isn't Henry Jokiharju on the Bruins?
With Nikita Zadorov as his defensive partner, yes. just not a real team.
And I'm pretty sure they had Ian Mitchell in their system at one point, and like Alec
He's still
Regula.
there. Oh no, he's on the Red Wings now. He's on the Red Wings now.
Yeah, I know. I know he's on the
fit.
Red Wings now.
Perfect fit for him.
Just collecting all the original 6 Infinity Stones.
One to go. Ian Mitchell's been traded to Toronto.
Yeah. All right. I guess we should talk about it. Connor McDavid, the new contract, basically just extending his current salary for another 2 years. I think this is the best contract in the NHL now. This might be the best contract in NHL history. Is this the greatest contract in sports history? Connor McDavid, 2 years, $12.5 million.
Yes, without a doubt. I've never seen the best player in the world take a discount in the 2 prime years of his career. Ever. In any sport. I don't think you know what? Brady used to do it. That's the only time I've ever seen it. Is probably Brady. But Brady had 7 rings to go with it. So, and millions of dollars in endorsements, and now he's getting like 125 mil from Fox. So I doubt he cares.
More, yeah. He's fine.
But it's unprecedented. I mean, we all kind of I think you and I were in the boat of like it's going to be a shorter deal. I never thought it was going to be 8. I was leaning more towards he's going to walk, and if anything, this shows me he is definitely thinking about it, because if he wasn't, it would be more than 2 years. This is a very strict timeline for the Oilers now. I think I texted you immediately. I was just like, TikTok, here we go. You have 3 years, 3 cracks. Get to work. I mean, I guess he got to work. He signed Walman to a 7x7 too. With the cap going up, I guess that deal's going to look like a 5x7 down the line, you would think. But at the same time, I'm always a little hesitant on giving long extensions to someone who's only played, give or take, 30 games with their team, including playoffs. So that concerns me a little bit. But also Jake Wallman's kind of done what he's done ever since he left St. Louis. So that's a good sign. I think it's a good second. I mean, for all we know, that could be the top pairing left-handed defenseman in a year when Ekholm potentially retires or doesn't re-sign.
And same with Brett Kulak, also UFA. They had no left-handed defenseman signed the next year, obviously, except for Darnell Nurse. So yeah.
Dang. But I mean, the Oilers got the core locked up. Now it's a matter of, with that $39 in cap space, what do you go get? Also, Savoy and Tomashek didn't make the team. I find that, or I don't know if they did make the team or if it's just like a cap. I
think it's just a paper move. I was actually looking at that earlier because Isaac Howard is also not on the team, but I think they're going to put Zach Hyman on LTIR and then call them up afterwards.
Okay, that makes more sense. That's what I kind of figured that, but back in your mind, you're always just like, what are they building over there? They're going to send all the kids down. But I mean, the core's locked up. You got another goalie, which is good. I don't know if it's a good goalie, but we'll see.
Something different. We'll at least find out. Like, they're trying something different than Skinner or Pickard.
Yeah. I mean, this is kind of like Stan Bowman getting Henrik Borgstrom to give us depth, but, to each their own. We'll see. I mean, it's hard to bet against McDavid and Draisaitl and Bouchard and Nuge and all these guys being back together now. And I think with the weight off his shoulders this year, I genuinely changed some of my predictions after that contract got signed, because I think Connor McDavid's in to have the best year of his career now. He might complete like a quintuple crown, like gold medal, Stanley Cup, Conn Smythe, fucking Hart. He might win it all this year. No weight on your shoulders. One goal in mind. I don't even think he gives a shit about the other stuff. Probably gives a shit about winning a gold medal a little bit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
100%. But Stanley Cup's number 1 right now. And how could it not be? You are the class of the Western Conference. I don't think that we talk about it enough, or enough people talk about it. They swept the floor with the West last year. Beat Vegas in 5.
The only adversity they faced is when they went down 2-0 to LA, and that was really it. I very much could see them running the table again in the
Yep.
West, and you just better hope you don't run
Don't
into
run into
Florida
Florida.
again. And I would say there's a pretty good chance they don't, just with all the injuries they've had and the amount of hockey they play. But you never know. Just give yourself the chance to get back there.
Yeah, and this is about as good of a chance as you're going to get. You're never. This might change the way contracts are done, but at the same time, there's got to be a lot of people around the league, not even just confused, but it puts you in a weird spot with a lot of contracts now. I feel like the best player in the world took almost 5 mil less than Kaprizov. Yes, it's a 2-year deal to an 8-year deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
McDavid's making 3.5 mil more than Luke Hughes. Like,
Dude, he's making 3.5 more than Jackson Lacombe.
dude, he's and the term is going to be the key to a lot of these contracts going forward. I think because the bridge is different now. You know, Bridge a couple years ago was like, oh, he's going to take 7.5 times 3. I always think of Braden Point when he did it, and then Braden Point got his big deal. Some people might just know their worth now. Like you look at the NBA, this has been going on since they had their first TV rights deal about a decade ago. LeBron was one of the catalysts of it. He just kept signing 1-year deals.
The decision.
Yep. And, you know, Tom Brady was doing that towards the end of his career, just signing 1-year extensions, you know, making the cap work for the team. And, you know, he's going to make his money in endorsements and all this shit. So it doesn't matter. I got to imagine the same thing. Like, I can't imagine McDavid's face is not plastered everywhere in Canada. You know what I mean?
Oh, it is, yeah.
Like
I
it
live in
is to an
Edmonton. I
extent
know.
here too for a Canadian team,
Mhm.
which is shocking. But
Especially for Edmonton.
exactly speaks to the player. But like Jack Eichel's contract is the most intriguing contract in hockey now.
It's crazy. I would have guessed he would have been the first to sign an extension now.
Actually,
Kaprizov and
I'm immediately taking that back. It's Kyle Connor.
for Eichel. Kyle Connor.
It's Kyle Connor. Because everyone says it. The reason Kaprizov signs it, it was 17 mil, right? Not 16, 17.
17, yeah.
Yes. Okay.
He turned down 60 mil per year.
Exactly. It's because it's Minnesota. And nothing against Minnesota. It's a great hockey market. You know, Winnipeg's a great hockey market too. It's not traditionally known for people making that big commitment to stay there in their prime. I mean, they tried with Parise and Suter, and we know how well that went. And I wouldn't even consider that to be the best players in the league at the time. That's like the next echelon down at the time. And they were still great moves.
Mhm.
You know, they clearly put the franchise in the right direction, but they hit a cap. But you have to overpay to keep these players. Like we saw with Columbus a little bit too. You know, Columbus offered Marner 13 mil. They offered Panarin all this money. It didn't fucking matter. They didn't want to go there. No one wants to go to Winnipeg unless you're, you know, the core that they've locked up. You know, it took a while to lock up Velarde, but they got him. They locked up Scheifele. They locked up Morrissey. Kyle Connor's the first one that has legit case to get a really big number with the way the cap's going. And if he's going to stick around in Winnipeg, I got to imagine they're going to overpay. And what does that overpay look like? What do you think? I think it's north of 13. If that's the case. Especially if he has the season that we're capable of him having, which is like 45 goals, 55 assists, just beast mode. That's what he does all the time if he's healthy.
I was going to say he's capable of scoring 50 goals. I think he could get 100 points last year, 97 points, 41 goals in 82 games played. 21-22, 47 goals in 79 games played. Who knows? Maybe if he plays a whole 82 game season, he might have hit 50 goals. So, yeah, if I am Kyle Connor and his agent, I am definitely being like, oh, I want at least 13 million.
Yeah. And, you know, the best player on the team's Hellebuck. Hellebuck makes what he makes, but he's a goalie. Goalies don't make what the player makes. And
no, it's different. Goalies are always very different.
I think it just comes down to if these players want to say what they want to say. Because clearly we know the player wants out, he's going to get out. Mitch Marner wanted out. He got out.
Yeah.
You know, John Tavares, even if he wasn't disagreement like they made out to be, he wanted out. He got out.
Mm.
If these players want to leave, they will leave. And I just wonder how much money he's going to have to talk in Winnipeg. Now, he might want to stay. But I have more confidence in Eichel signing an extension right now than Connor, just by the way the market's moving.
Mm-hmm. And just kind of like preview the episode that I didn't really get much into. We're gonna do our Western Conference predictions, and there's kind of some like prompts I texted you earlier, like, oh, what are some hot takes or whatever. And one thing I didn't add in was who's gonna stay, who's gonna go. And in the NHL, it's always, oh, the player's gonna say, always bet on nothing. But it was interesting having that discussion with Kyle Connor, because I wonder another guy like Adrian Kempe, kind of the same age. I think he's a year older than Kyle Connor. I think he went in the 2014 draft. I think Kyle Connor is 2015. Wonder what his market's looking like. I don't know if it's quite as much as Kyle Connor, because Kyle Connor has flirted with 100 points and 50 goals before, but Adrian Kempe has flirted with, like, he's a 40 goal scorer, so he's easily going to make $10+ million, especially if he hits the market.
100%. And the more these big contracts signed, then you're the next one up. You know what I mean? And if we are to believe that the Eichel extension, like they're going to do it. It's just a matter of not when, or if, but when. He's the next biggest name on the board, you actually imagine. I mean, like you said, Kempe's another one. I think Tuck's an interesting one, especially with depending on how Buffalo's season goes. There's going to be some interesting. Natchez is a huge one. But Marty Natchez could really run the market in a big way.
And he's younger than those guys. Like, he's 26, I think. Like, he'll be 27 once he hits the market. Just like a year or two younger than Connor and Kempe and all of them. Tuck.
Yeah, and if you're Marty Natchez, you're not getting $13 million in Colorado. They got to pay McCarr in a couple of years. You can get $13 million in the open market. Someone is going to pay that. It doesn't matter if you want to go there, I guess. But I don't know. The market's going to be very interesting to watch with these extensions. I think Bedard's extension has got a lot more interesting. We joke 98 times 8, but that might be the starting point now. If this is what, 8-year contracts look like for really elite players.
Artemi Panarin's also another one. He's a bit older than the guys we've been talking about, but I wonder if he stays in New York. I don't know if he does. Like, I don't think it's a guaranteed thing he does. I wonder if he wants to go to the market and like get a short-term contract, but get just a lot of money. Like, again, if I'm the Blackhawks looking at this, if you can't get one of those wingers, like we mentioned, like a Kyle Connor and Adrian Kempe, who I know you would love on the Blackhawks, and obviously so would I, and so should every other Blackhawks fan. But if you can't get one of those younger guys, just at some point you're going to have to get a high-end winger, and giving Panarin 2 or 3 years, maybe with some performance bonuses, because I think he's 35 and you can do that. I would give him like, I don't know how much, like 15, let's say 15 million over 2 years. Do that? I would. They can do that. And you're going to have to do something like that soon.
Exactly. We're going to see some interesting overpays, I think, in the next couple of years. The Hawks got a lot of crap for giving a lot of people $4 million. I think we're going to see some we're going to see some more Orlov type deals. You know what I mean? Those 8 times 2s. I think that's going to become more common.
I kind of want to go back to the Connor McDavid discussion. I was doing some math. So I remember every time we talked about the Oilers, we talked about what a glorious opportunity that they just fumbled with different regimes. In 2018-19, the first year that Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl were on their big boy contracts, I think Draisaitl's contract hit in a year earlier, 17-18, and then McDavid's ELC ended in early. His contract would have started 18-19. So that's $21 million. The cap in 18-19 was 79.5. So 21 million of 79.5 is just a little over 26% of the cap. Going to now where you have 3 years of them at $26.5 million. The cap is, I think it's 95.5 this year. I just want to double check I got it right. Yeah. So the percentage of the cap this year, it is 27%. But next year, it's supposed to be $104 million. You do the math for that, that's just a little over 25%. But I saw Elliot Freeman say on 32 Thoughts that the cap could go up to $107 million. So if we do that for $107 million, it's less, it's 24%. It's less than a quarter of your cap. So you have been gifted such a great opportunity to make amends. All you have to do is win one cup and everyone's going to forget about what happened. That's all you need to do. You've been given a lifeline, whatever you want to use to build this team. Now you got to empty the tank and get all the support you can for Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl to win a cup within these next 3 years. And if you don't get it done, then McDavid's going to walk to free agency and cash in on one less contract. And maybe this works out. Maybe they win a cup and McDavid just signs like, okay, we got it done. Now I can stay here for the rest of my career. But yeah, McDavid did not have to do that. He could have done whatever he wanted to do. He could have walked to free agency, and like, yeah, it's Connor McDavid. I don't think you can overpay him, but this guy is so clearly wants to win a Stanley Cup. He has done everything but win one. He's got hearts, Art Ross. He's got a Rocket Richard. Going to be in the Hall of Fame, no doubt. He hasn't even hit 30 yet, and has a Conn Smythe, even scored the game-winning goal at the Four Nations tournament. He's done everything but win a cup. That's the only thing that's going to be on his mind right now, besides maybe winning Olympic gold medal.
Yeah, I think we're going to see the best Connor McDavid we've ever seen. Fingers crossed with health. Because, the last couple of years he's missed a little bit of time, and I think
he's banged up a little bit.
That affects him not getting the 160 points. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Which we know he's very capable of.
So his benchmark season was the 22-23 season, 64 goals, 89 assists for 153 points. Last year's a couple of years is kind of slacked. Only 130 points in 76 games. And last year, only 100 points in 67 games. And by the way, 23-24, 100 assists. What are the odds we get like a 50 goal, 100 assist season out of Connor McDavid? I think we can see it.
I think it's pretty high, especially if they're going to play him with Draisaitl all year. Have fun. Good luck stopping that. And then he's going to get Hyman back. Oh no, he's going to get the guy he got 56 goals to. Get excited.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's gonna pop off this year. The Oilers are going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, and I just think with all the young players they have now, it's going to be different. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be better for them. I think it could give them a higher ceiling. I also think there could be a lower floor at this team. So at least they did like something a little different. Again, I wonder about the goaltending. Could Connor Ingram come in and be the savior? I don't know. And I almost think that's unfair to put those expectations on him with the stuff he's dealt with. And I don't think he's played much NHL as of recently, but who knows? And there's going to be goalies available, not necessarily great ones, but just looking at the waiver wire today, seeing like Toronto claim Caden Primo. Like, again, I don't know if that's the answer. It could be. You're just going to have to cycle and shuffle through a bunch of goalies like teams like Vegas have done. So, yeah. Any last words on the Oilers? Well, I guess we'll touch on them later because we're going to preview the Western Conference, give some of our awards picks, some takes for the year, predictions. Let's get into that.
Hot takes.
So we did the Eastern Conference last episode. If I may, I would like to switch a couple teams because I felt I was too conservative with my too boring. I want to switch things around and be more fun because with the Western Conference, I think I got a little more fun than the East at least. So for my Eastern Conference predictions, I have Leafs, Lightning, Panthers, Sens making the playoffs out of the Atlantic, and then the Metro, I had the Hurricanes, Devils, Rangers, and Caps. I would like to switch the Washington Capitals and Columbus Blue Jackets for the wild card spot. Again, when I put a team not making the playoffs, it's not like, oh, they're going to be horrible. They're going to finish with less than 25 wins. They could still very much hit 40-plus wins and just miss the playoffs. But I want to see Columbus make the playoffs. Like I've said, I think you and I are both fans of what the Blue Jackets have done in drafting. I would just love for that franchise, and I think it would be so good for that franchise for them to make the playoffs. So I'm going to do that one switch for the Eastern Conference. And if you want to, you could switch any teams around you would like for the Eastern Conference.
No, I think I'm okay with the way I positioned it. I like
I respect
Montreal
it.
at 3. I think that was my big one. I think they're going
Hmm.
to take a step, especially with that in Dobson.
Yeah, I'm almost kind of looking at Sens and Habs such whatsoever. I'm like,
See,
no,
but
I'm gonna
like the
leave it.
Sens can make it. Like if Allmark pops off
Hmm.
and their defense is great and the top 6 stays
Hmm.
healthy, they're going to be good. Like they just have the
Hmm.
talent, and they play a
Yeah.
style of hockey that not a lot of people in the East play. So they're going to be kind of like the sandpaper that will meet a lot of these high
Yeah.
skill teams. I mean, Florida
Yeah.
obviously can do both, but not every team can
Hmm.
do what Florida does.
Nope. Which is why they've won back-to-back Stanley Cups and could very well go to 4 straight Stanley Cup finals. Anywho, NFL fans, what's your favorite touchdown? For me, it's the next one. Because with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, every touchdown could bring you closer to cashing in. From first touchdown score to anytime TD props or the thrill of live in-game betting, every snap is loaded with opportunity. Next Monday, on the 13th, the Chicago Bears take on the Washington Commanders. It features a money line of plus 190 odds for the Chicago Bears and minus 230 odds for the Washington Commanders. Lines and odds are subject to change. Here's the best part. Bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets instantly. If I had needed this product, it's what I'd use. Your team hitting pay dirt pays out to you. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. Fees may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive reward. Minimum minus 500 odds required. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Let's do the Western Conference. So I want to
Oh
start
boy,
with the Pacific.
specific
How do
in
you
the
go?
Pacific.
I'll let you go first because you have spoken glowingly about the Oilers this episode with McDavid resigning. How are your Pacific standings going?
So I gotta pull them up real quick. But my Pacific standings, I feel like are actually pretty mundane. If I'm being honest, I think it's exactly what people expect. But I think this is one of the more predictable divisions, at least on the top end, because
Mm,
my 1, 2, 3 is Vegas, Edmonton, LA again, and I
that's what I
just think
have.
it's because
I
I
thought
mean those
you
three
might have
teams
switched
are
Vegas and Edmonton.
nah. Vegas is still,
Yeah.
but they got Marner, man. Like they're gonna be so
Hmm.
good.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And my main reason is just because I don't Edmonton's goaltending I don't like as much as Vegas is, but it's very slim between
Well, if you
Aiden
get
Hill
50
and Stu
wins, like it
Skins.
could be a wire to wire finish for the division
Oh,
title.
100%. I expect both of them to be at the top of the comp. Or they're not my President's Trophy pick. But because I think they're going to beat up on each other too much. But like it could be like how
Yeah.
the Central was 10 years ago, where it'd be like,
Mm,
the Hawks or like the Blues would have 112, the Hawks would have 109, and the Preds would have 108 or something. You know what I mean?
or like Caps and Penguins, where you're like in the top
Exactly.
five in the NHL.
Exactly. And then LA's 3 just because I really just think the roster depth's deeper than the bottom half of this conference. Um,
Mm,
4 is one of my wild card teams. I got the Canucks. I just think if Demko's healthy, him and Lankinen, that is one of the best goaltending duos in hockey. When
a
Demko's
lot of
on his
money.
game, obviously. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason they're being paid the money. Quinn Hughes, argue top 2. I mean, obviously top 2 defenseman in the league. You can argue the best. Depends on who you talk to. I'm putting my money where my mouth is with Vancouver. I picked Elias Pettersson in fantasy. There is not a chance in hell that guy finishes with 45 points again. I cannot see that happening. All of the stuff
Right.
happening off the ice. He's going to get a clean slate this year. I think he and Besser are going to take steps. Besser has that security now. He just got that big contract. DeBrusque has a year in the system. Heedle's going to have a full camp. I think all these
Hopefully
things are going to
so.
matter.
Yeah.
And people forget this team was a game away from beating the Oilers 2 years ago.
They had like
Like,
50 wins that year. I think they had more than that. Yeah.
there's a lot of talent there. And, the biggest question mark with them is, are they all going to gel under Adam Foote? but I think they edge out the next coming teams. And number 5, I have the Ducks. The Ducks is always offensive upside. And Quinville might bring it out of some of these guys, but I have to see it. I love Leo Carlson. I have to see him get more than 50 points. I like Cutter Gauthier. I need to see him take that step. There's a lot of players in this team that need to take that step. And if they do, they're going to be a dangerous team because they're young, they're big, they're fast on the back end, and they have one of the best young goalies in the game. I think it's just 1 year away. I think their right side is going to bog them down because it's a lot of sandpaper on that right side. And I don't think having a right side of Gudas and Truba in 2026 is the right move. But, moves can be made. But I think Quinville's going to put his stamp on this team. I don't think it's going to be the stamp that he did with Florida when he went to Florida. But
it's different situation.
I think they just miss it. I think they just missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then 6, I have the Flames. I think the Flames are gonna. It's a transition year for the kids, so we'll see how guys like Perek and I think Matt Van Greeden made the team out of camp, so that's pretty sweet. We'll see how he plays. Huberdeau, if he could stay healthy. We'll see if they end up trading Kadri. We'll see if they end up trading Anderson. I just think there's a lot of moving parts with that team that you can't pick them to go any higher. And I don't really trust their. Dustin Wolf is great, but there's a lot of lack. There's not a lot of star power there. I think there's a lot of it's like a Columbus. There's a lot of really good players right now. They need those guys to take the next step. And I don't think it's this year. And then 7, the Kraken. I saw Cat made it out of camp. That's super awesome. I'm pumped about that. So that means I got all 3 stud centers on the team right now, and Beniers, Wright, and Catton. But the back end's still just so lacking. There's no offensive upside on that back end outside of Montour and Dunn sometimes. But it's one of those teams where they need Decord to play 60 games and be a beast. They need Grubauer to not be a sieve. And God, they need Beniers and Wright.
For Grubauer, just be like an 895. I think he's been like an 870 or something.
He's abysmal. I don't know why they don't buy him out. But
no, they want to make it work it out, they said.
But it's a team that I could see taking a step if the centers take a step, because there's so much skill with Wright, Catton, and Beniers as your 3 centers. And if
a lot of untapped potential.
If even 1 or 2 of them take a step, that changes the whole dynamic of that hockey team. But I need to see it. It's like the Ducks. So for now, especially with Grubauer, they're 7th. And then the Sharks, LOL, 8th. You're getting 1st overall again.
Sleepovers, yeah.
I'm glad Michael Misa made the team, but have fun with Phil Kirchhoff in the top 6. And the back end is still really bad, and the goaltending's worse. So Sharks, another year. Maybe you could go get Keaton Bearhawk.
We'll see who's better between Macklin Celebrini and Connor Bedard. If Macklin Celebrini can make Phil Kurashev a 65-point player, I tip my hat. I'll say that.
Real.
And just Philip Grubauer last year had an 875 in 26 games. I'm just even looking at his stats from years prior. 23-24, 899, 22-23, 895. I think if you even get that, you might be fine.
Yeah. It just
so
league
you can
average.
Get like a 9-10 out of Decord, yeah, or slightly below league average, yeah. But even then, I don't think we're gonna make the playoffs. We pretty much had the same list, except I had the Ducks and Canucks flipped around. I am taking the leap of faith, just like with the Blue Jackets, even though I think there's definitely more of a track record to go off with the Blue Jackets, but I'm all in on the Ducks. I really like the goaltending. I like the defense. I do like the contrast in the defense that one side you got just sandpaper nails. I had a bowl of nails for breakfast without any milk with Jacob Trouba and Radko Gudas, and then you got smooth left-handed skating defensemen like Pavel Menchikov, Olin Zellweger. I think I'm missing names, but they've got an embarrassment of riches
Jackson
on their
Lacombe.
defense. Oh yeah, the guy who signed
Mr. $9 million.
Yeah, that's crazy that I forgot him.
That's awesome.
And then the forwards,
they just got Kreider at forward, man. That's a huge addition.
Dude, they literally their forward court is so huge, so big. I just think that's going to be not a lot of fun to play against. I am looking at their lines right now. Kreider, Carlson, Terry, like that. Gauthier, McTavish, Granlund, like that. Third line, Vetrano, Strom, Killorn, good veteran third line. Looking at this fourth line, Ross Johnson, Ryan Paling, and Beckett Seneca looks like he made the team. So that's a very
Okay.
interesting fourth line. But I like the depth that they have and the size. I just think Joel Quenneville, say what you will want about him, one of the best coaches in NHL history. I think he's going to get a lot out of this team. I think the goaltending is going to hold up. I think the defense is going to be fine too. I think they're going to make the playoffs. They'll probably sneak in. They'll probably get destroyed by like Vegas. But hey, every team's got to go through that, I think. It's initiation.
Got to take the step.
Yep, exactly. And kind of just like going over the top, I pretty much agree with everything you said. I think Vegas and Edmonton are going to duke it out until the end, and it being 50+ wins. I think they're going to face each other in the playoffs again. I think the Oilers are going to face the Kings in the second round or the first round again and beat them, and ending the Corey Perry making the Cup Finals streak. And then Canucks. I think it's going to be close. Again, when a team doesn't make the playoffs, it's not that they're necessarily going to be bad. Again, I think they could finish with 40 wins. I don't know what the Canucks. They're so, I don't know. I never know what to expect for them. And then the Flames, Kraken, Sharks, I pretty much agree with everything you said on those teams. The Flames, I just don't think there's a lot of high-end offense there. And Seattle, I think, could be a very interesting
talent.
team.
Sorry.
But with Seattle, they're just such like the same thing. I like their centers they could take off Beniers, right. It hasn't really happened yet. And I think if they have another bad year, I think we could see themselves guys like McCann, Eberle, Tolvanen, and just a bunch of those guys. So I think there'll be a team to watch for the deadline, especially if they're below 500 and well out of a playoff spot. And the Sharks are the Sharks. They will have sleepovers, but all jokes aside, they have a pretty damn young, fine core there.
Yeah, it's just the back ends and the goaltending is not where it needs to be at the moment to match the forwards. And I think a Keaton Bearhoff helps that a lot. So I think they'd be okay with not being too good this year.
And there's some other right-handed defensemen that I don't remember the name of, but I'm pretty sure there's a few of them. So I think they'll be able to get
Brian Lynn's one of them. There's a couple.
I think Daxon Rudolph is his name. I can't remember. I'm gonna have to do more research, but I know there's a few right-handed defensemen out there. So let's go on to the Central. What were your picks for the Central?
So
Blackhawks first. Let's go.
Yeah, first if you flip it upside down.
If we're in Australia.
Hell yeah. In the upside down land. No, but I got the Blackhawks safe.
Yeah, me too.
Got to see it to believe it.
Spoiler.
I do think they're going to be better than second last this year, if that means anything. We'll see, but the Central is one of those divisions where it's just going to be a logjam for the next couple of years. Where there's going to be a lot of teams right in that little crunch of like 10 points, and the Hawks aren't there quite yet, but they're going to be there soon, and it's going to be even more of a clusterfuck. I have the Predators in seventh. I saw that Brady Martin is playing first line center right now for them, opening night, which is kind of crazy.
Let's go.
Moved Ryan O'Reilly to the wing, so must be pretty good.
They don't have any centers. Let's move our best center to the wing. What are they doing, bro?
Go look at on daily faceoff, bro. It's ridiculous.
What are they doing?
But I don't like their back end still.
That is crazy.
Saros hasn't had a good year in a while, unfortunately, but Saros could bounce back. You never know. Yeah, it's unless Stamkos and Marchessault bounce back to what we known them for in the last decade, which is a lot to ask for out of people in their mid-30s. I think there's only so much you can do with that roster. And sixth, so 6 through 4, they're all I'll even go 6 through 3. I'm not even kidding. If I had to put points on this, it's a 5-point difference between these 4 teams. So there's 2 playoff spots. I think 2 of these 4 teams are going to get at them, but they're all really close. So the Blues are at the bottom of that right now. And I think that's just because I need to see it again from a lot of these kids. I need to see Neighbors get back to what he was 2 years ago. I know they got Snuggerud on the top line right now. That's maybe a Calder dark horse, but there's a lot of things I need to see on the back end. Let's see if Cam Fowler can replicate basically being a Norris caliber defenseman.
New 3-year contract.
Logan Mailloux on the back end. We'll see if that, actually amounts to anything.
Got beaten up by Kolenduk, not moved.
Yeah. And then you just never know with Bennington. He could come back from the Olympics and be white hot. So, they're a wild card, but I just think the teams above them have more talent. The team above them would be Utah. Next, I love their top six. I even go as far as saying I love their top nine. There's just so much skill. Another thing we didn't talk about, Logan Cooley declined $77 million, which I think is even crazier after what happened today.
He is betting on himself, and honestly, I think it'll work out because if you know me, I've been a Logan Cooley truther since day one.
Oh, yeah. He's a hell of a hockey player. He's going to have
the talent to help him, like you said.
100%. They just added Peterkin to that top six. Gunther, I expect to take another step. Schmaltz is an afterthought on that team. You still have Clayton Keller, who's over a point a game. He's excellent. Barrett Hayton's become a
Is Clayton Keller the most underrated player in the NHL? Like, for the longest time, remember, it was Louis Eriksson, and then it was Barkov who took over, and we got to give it to someone else now, because I feel like everyone still says Barkov. I would put Clayton Keller, and I would throw his hat in the ring.
I'd say him or Dylan Larkin. Those are the two that come to mind immediately. Maybe Sam Reinhart, but, I don't think.
Gross Canadian, not a good American kids like Keller
or Brandon Hagel. I mean, if you want to go that far, but
yeah, good Alberta kid, so that counts.
100%. But the back end, they got Sergachev, Marino, Dursey. They have all these great talents on the back end.
Good veteran blue line.
If they could stay healthy, obviously, and I think they added Brandon Tanev. That's great bottom six depth.
Yeah.
And they signed Pamelka long term. So you have all the pieces there to make that run at the playoffs. I think health is just the big thing. Like if their back end gets banged up to hell again, yeah, it's gonna be kind of rough. But Simashev, Daniel Butt, like I imagine these guys are gonna play games on the team this year. They look great in preseason. You're gonna start seeing a lot of these.
Boot is on the team.
There we go. Yeah, so you're going to start seeing, and that's a big body to have in that lineup when you have a lot of small, skilled forwards. So, we all kind of, chuckled at when he got drafted a couple years ago. When you see the way the forward group is kind of set up, that's a nice piece to have in your middle six down the line. So, they're a team to look out for. But the team I have above them right now is the Minnesota Wild, and I think even with their center woes, if Kaprizov's healthy, they're a really good hockey team. And I think Boyum is going to take their back end to a whole new level. It's going to allow Brody and Spurgeon to kind of take a step back finally. And they could be your second pair that's really good and shut down. And your top pair could be Boyum and Faber, and you just let them go crazy. It's a very good top four, and then Juracek's an afterthought. So you have all that. Gustafson's incredible. And then Wallstedt's going to take that. Yep. Wallstedt's going to take that step this year as well. Urov made the team out of camp. That could help the center problem a little bit. Rossi's back on a decent term deal. Barring any crazy health things like Kaprizov being out half the year, I think they're bound to make the playoffs. And then third, I have the Winnipeg Jets. The Jets obviously were extremely good last year. Did they win the President's Trophy? I think they did, right?
President's Trophy. I think they had like 55, 56 wins. It was pretty damn good year.
President's Trophy, Connor Hellebuyck won the Hart and the Vezina. First time since Carey Price that's happened.
That he won the Hart, yeah.
Yep. It's going to take a lot to replicate that. And you lose Nikolai Ehlers, you add Jonathan Taves. He'll totally get 60 points and eclipse that. I don't want to be pessimistic. It's just the last time he missed time like this, it took him till Christmas to score his first goal of the season. But besides that, they still have a lot of great forward depth. You'd love to see a full 82-game season out of guys like Velarde. Kyle Connor's in a contract year. We know he's going to go crazy. They got the structure on the back end. They might not look good on paper, but on ice, they are so structured, it doesn't matter. And you have the best goalie in hockey when he's on. So it's not playoff Hellebuyck, it's regular season Hellebuyck.
And he wants
But
to be the starting goalie at the Olympics, and he's going to have some competition. So, if anything, I think that will help the Jets. He does not want to be the backup to an Ottinger.
oh yeah, chip on his shoulder for sure. And then the top two teams, Colorado's a second. I just got to see a full season without Rantanen. I, I can't put them ahead of Dallas. I just think
No,
Dallas
same
is
boat.
you're giving Rantanen a full camp. I know they got Sam Steele on the top line in Dallas right now.
What?
But yeah, dude. So we were doing our fantasy draft for context last night, and I drafted Rantanen, and I was like, oh, let's go see who his center is, and I just see Sam
Okay,
Steele first line left wing.
who? I'm looking at the lines. Who?
Yep.
How do you say his name? Justin Her. I don't even know how to say it. Hrykkowian. I don't even want to attempt to announce that name.
Yeah, in
I've
the top
never
six
heard of
though.
him. Yeah, he's on the
Yeah.
third, but he's on the third line with Duchesne and Tyler Seguin,
Yep.
bro.
But their back end's gross. I think Ottinger, I think, is playing with a huge chip on his shoulder after the Pete DeBoer debacle. So I
Yeah.
think he's out to prove this year, just like Hellebuck, that he wants to start for Team USA. And I think he wants to prove a lot of people wrong because I think people are starting to question Jake Ottinger, which I don't think is smart because he's a hell of a goalie. But I think playing with a chip on your
Also,
shoulder,
you've gotten outplayed by Stuart Skinner in back-to-back conference finals. In all fairness,
that too. But I just think that team is so good. And you look at guys like Wyatt Johnson and Rope Hintz who had down years. Yeah, could be a really good hockey team this year. And they are, spoiler, they are my President's Trophy winner this year.
could very well see it. Yeah, they're on the short list of teams that are just right on the precipice of winning a cup. And if they did, I would not be surprised at all. Jim Knowles built that team so well. I pretty much had the same division standings as you, except for Blackhawks 8, Predators 7th. I think Preds are gonna be maybe the most fascinating team to watch, especially if they get off to a bad start. I think there could be a fire sale from Barry Trotz in Nashville, but more on that later. I had the Blues 6th, so I was the same as you. Again, I don't think they're going to be bad. I think they're going to be like hovering around 40 wins. Like, if I could tier the divisions, I think that'd be so much better than like just ranking them individually, because to me it's Stars and Avs at the top. I would give the Stars the advantage, and then I'd put the Jets in there too. And then there's just that kind of mushy middle, I suppose. I have the Mammoth making the playoffs. I just believe so much in their talent. You can compare the Blackhawks to a lot of teams. Oh, if they can be this team in 2 years, I'd be happy. Utah's probably at the top of the list of teams I'd like to see them imitate because they just have so much skill in their lineup. They still have a bunch of prospects in their system in the AHL. Even if they have injuries to their team, especially their defense that's a little older, you can call it Dmitry Simashev. I just think they have so much depth. And then the Wild and the Blues, again, I think they're going to be right there, but I want to be different. I want to give the Utah Mammoth with their ceiling a chance, and I think the Wild and Blues will be right there, but I don't think they're going to make it. And I think especially with the case of the Wild, if they don't make it, there's going to be some changes.
Yeah. And I agree. It's really tiers with the division. There's that much, and then there's the bottom two, and then there's the top two. I don't think there's going to be the discrepancy is going to be pretty wide this year. But I think if you look at this division in 3 years' time, it's going to be like the first place team has 98 points and the eighth place team has 84 points. Like this division is going to get to that point at some point. I don't know when, but it's going to not be a fun division once this Hawks team's up to speed. Even if some teams are on the decline, you got the arguably second and third best player in the world in the division still, and that doesn't account for anyone on Dallas. So,
hey, you know what? If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And being a fan of the Toronto Blue Jays who play in the AL Beast, you gotta beat good teams.
the AL
Let's
Beast.
go into the awards. What do you have for your Hart winner?
All right, let me pull up my stats. Hold on 1 second. So my Hart trophy, I really wanted to switch it to McDavid at one point, but
I have it at McDavid. Spoiler alert. I just think he's going to go nuclear this year.
So I got McKinnon winning the Hart again.
It it's him, McKinnon, Kucherov. Yeah, like I even thought about Matthews because I think he's just so due for a bounce back year. I even thought about Pasternak, but I just think him being on a bad team is not going to help. But I think he should get some recognition at least.
Yeah, I agree, and I just think
Draisaitl
McKinnon
as well.
yeah, Draisaitl's always underrated for that one. I think Makar is another one that can be. I was very close to picking Makar for this also, but I just think with the way Colorado's roster is structured right now, they need Nathan McKinnon to be ballistic in order
McKinnon
to
is the
be
guy. Yeah, he is the
exactly,
guy. No more
exactly.
Antonin.
And I think he's going to take that with a chip on his shoulder, like we've been talking about in this. And I mean, he won the Hart last year or 2 years ago. Sorry, what
Yeah.
2 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But
24.
he had 100 assists last year. I'm pretty sure, and like no one talked
It's
about
so
it.
ridiculous, dude.
Like
Like
the guy refused to shoot the puck and still had almost 40 goals. He's a mutant. He's only getting better, and I think this is the year where
crazy.
you just look at the Hart's always one of those trophies where it's just like you got to look at the talent around the team and how much he's uplifting the team. Because the year McDavid at 160 points, he didn't win the fucking Hart. I'm pretty sure, wasn't it Matthews? Um,
Uh, no, he won. He won the year when he put up 153 points because he had 64 goals. But 21-22, he probably had like 120 or 130 points. It didn't win.
yeah, but this is the point. Like this happens all the time, but I just think this is the year McKinnon pops off and just kind of proves that he's on that upper echelon again of the NHL.
Yeah, looking at these stats, so I've just kind of been jumping all over the place. So McDavid in 21-22, oh bum, 44 goals, 79 assists for 123 points in 80 games. Nathan McKinnon, the year he won the Hearts, had 140 points, 51 goals. Nathan McKinnon is a 50 goal scorer and 89 assists. And last year, he regressed, 32 goals, 84 assists for 160 points. Like,
And I just think like if he shoots the puck more, he's gonna get 140 again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It truly is crazy how much good talent there is in the NHL right now. Like
it's the best
the
it's been
golden
since
era.
the 90s, probably, in terms of just
Yeah, I'm
star power.
glad that there's an Olympics. Wish there was Russia in it, but stuff out
What are
of
you
our
gonna do?
control. Exactly. Speaking of Russia, Calder Trophy. I think the chalk pick is Ivan Demidov, but did you go different? Because I went different. Because I think it's gonna be Demidov, but I just wanted to throw a different name in there. Be different.
Okay, well, I had Demidov, but I also just had my second place pick. So, you go first. I want to hear yours is.
I think the Oilers are going to pop off this year, in particular Connor McDavid. I just think by virtue, if this guy is on his wing, I think he's going to get a lot of points. Kind of sort of similar with Panarin and Kane in 15-16. Funny enough, that cost McDavid the Calder, also being hurt. I like Ike Howe for Calder, baby. I know he's technically in the HL right now, but he's going to get called up, and I think he's going to get a lot of points just playing with McDavid.
Yeah, that's a dark horse pick for sure, and it just depends on if he can earn that spot in the top six. I think that's my only concern with that. But
Yeah, he could be
if he
like
gets
he
it,
could struggle and be sent down, but if he gets it, yeah, he'll get a lot of points. He'll get his chance.
he'll pop off.
Him and Savoy are
So
such wild cards for that team. Like I even thought about Savoy, but Ike Howe, baby. I like Ike.
yeah, I like Ike. You can't really bet against it, honestly. But so like so I'll just do a top three. I think that's gonna be easier for me because I can't decide between these two. So obviously
Mm-hmm.
Demidov's at the top, and then I have putting my money where my mouth is again. Like I talked about him all offseason. I talked about him as soon as he signed his contract. Sam Renzel has a legit chance of winning this Calder Trophy, and I don't think enough people are starting to realize it. He is money in the bank 40 points with just the role he's going to have on this offense. And what we've seen from him, he's one of the three catalysts of offense on this Blackhawk team. And I think that matters. And I think the fact that the coach is already trusting him to play 23, 24 minutes a night, that matters. We saw it with Lane Hudson last year. If you can set up on the power play well, and you can play pretty good 5-on-5, then the points are going to come with that kind of offensive upside. And the funniest part is, I think he has the potential to get 10 goals, and he doesn't have his first NHL goal yet. But it just speaks to the amount of chances he produces with this shot and the amount of chances he gets in the high slot with his shot. I think he has a legit chance to win the Calder Trophy if he is in that top 4 defenseman role for the Blackhawks all season. And my hotter take is I think he's Money in the Bank for 50 points, not just 40. I really think, and I know we have it in here later, like the amount of 50-point players. Sam Renzel is one of my players. I'm that confident. I think he's in for a big year. And then my third, if he's going to play top line minutes, I got to say Jimmy Snuggerud, because he's top line power play, that kind of shot with the playmaker like Robert Thomas all the time as your center. That's screaming 30 goals right there. And,
Yeah, I was just gonna say
he's
that.
got pretty good playmaking ability too. That Minnesota team was loaded, man. Funny enough, it's Demidov and 2 Minnesota kids, but that would be my top 3 if I were to guess today. And Demidov is the safer pick just because he's played so well with grown men. But fuck, man, if Sam Renzel's putting up 50 points as a defenseman, playing top line minutes, you really can't look against that, I think.
Yeah, to win a defenseman as a Calder, you either have to be truly exceptional or it has to be a bit of a weaker forward crop. And I still think Demidov does get it. I just wanted to be different with Ike Howard. But if Demidov doesn't have a great, like, I think if Demidov even gets 60 points and Renzel just pops off and does have 50 plus points, that could be very interesting, because Lane Hudson won last year, but he had 60 assists. Like, that's very deserving. And no one really took over, like truly established himself as a 40, even though there's a lot of good forwards like Celebrini and Mitchkov. None of them were like, leaps and bounds better than Lane Hudson. And going back to 21-22, a little bit of a weaker forward class. Like, I can't remember the names, but Moritz Seider won. 1920, Cale Makar won. He's Cale Makar. And I remember this one, 2014-15, there were a lot of good forwards. None of them just really popped off. And I remember Aaron Ekblad, just this young defenseman, his first, like, just making it into the NHL right after being drafted. And he beat out guys like who had great careers with Johnny Gaudreau, rest in peace, and Mark Stone. Those were some of the guys that were listed there. So I could see something like that where Sam Renzel has that kind of career and he's going up against guys like Ivan Demidov, can also have a great career. So yeah, I would say if you want to make some good money or take a good bet, I think that's a good bet. Sam Renzel winning the Calder.
Yeah, I'm just putting them a lot of my predictions have just put my money where my mouth is.
Selke, now that Barkov is out for the year, who do you think is going to dethrone him?
Sorry.
You said yours already, Nick Suzuki. I think it's staying in the Atlantic. I don't have Nick Suzuki. I have Anthony Cirelli on Tampa Bay. Just similar to, I think Tampa Bay is going to pop off offensively, especially that top 6. I just think Cirelli is going to get a lot of, like, he could flirt with 80 points. This was a guy who was on the 4 Nations roster, and he might have a good chance of making the Olympic team. I think he goes off, and he's going to do it while playing excellent defense. So I have Anthony Cirelli as my Selke winner.
Yeah.
But I guess same with Suzuki as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's like a couple options that the 4 that come to mind. I mean, I think Suzuki has the best chance just because of the role he's going to play in Montreal as that number 1 center. But, I look at him. I look at Joel Eriksson Ek in Minnesota if he stays healthy the whole year.
Nico Hischier.
Anthony Cirelli, Nico Hischier, Mitch Marner. These are names that come to mind. Sam Reinhart even. Sam Reinhart is one of the best defensive forwards in hockey.
About it, but wingers never win unless you're Yuri Lettinen, unfortunately.
Yeah, you got a point there, unfortunately. Shoot.
We saw that with Hossa. He never even got it. I don't even think he got a nomination.
Yeah. I just think I'm just picking Suzuki just because I think every year he's gotten better defensively and his offense has gotten better every year. He's had a steady trajectory, almost like Hischier in a way. I don't think Hischier gets enough credit for it either. Just year by year progression to eventually become that top line 2-way center. And for Montreal, if they're going to have the year that I think they're going to have, it requires Nick Suzuki to be that Selke caliber center.
Norris, I'm gonna guess we have the same pick. I think Cale Makar is popping off this year. I think he's gonna hit 30 goals and get 100 points. I just think him and McKinnon are gonna carry that offense,
I
dragging
mean,
and kicking and screaming.
yeah, I mean, you heard me earlier. I almost picked him to win the Hart. I think
I think he'll get Hart love too.
He's destined to have a fantastic year. Like you said, he and McKinnon are the catalysts of that offense. The offense, and if we're being honest, the offense runs through Makar because he's the one that starts it off. Then goes through McKinnon, but
He's quarterback.
He's the quarterback. So I don't think it's going to be close this year. And if it is, that's the hat off to whatever defenseman it would be, whether it's a Darlene or a Bouchard or a you name it, Victor Hedman, bunch of defensemen.
It feels like it's Cale Makar's trophy to lose at this point.
Maybe Adam Fox has a crazy resurgence. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. Vezina Trophy. Who'd you have?
So I kind of alluded to it with because I said the Stars are my President's Trophy winner. I think Jake Ottinger is winning the Vezina this year. I think this is going to be his year where he kind of takes back that. Because I think people kind of, like I said earlier, people started to forget that this guy's really a top 3 goalie in the league, I think, when he's at his best. And I think just that what happened with DeBoer in the playoffs last year, the fact that Skinner had his number the last 2 years and McDavid had his number the last 2 years, and the team in front of him got better, I think. It's hard not to pick him, I think he's money in the bank for $925 plus this year.
I went a little off the board. I don't know. Yeah, I would say it's off the board. My Vezina pick is from a team who I did not have making the playoffs. I chose Philip Gustafson from the Minnesota Wild as a Vezina Trophy winner.
Gus Bussy.
I just wanted to be different. And so 22-23, only played 39 games, but went 22-9-7. Not that I think record matters much when voting for the Vezina. 210 goals against average, 931 save percentage. 23-24, not so great. 306 goals against average, 899 save percentage. Last year, first full year as a starter, 58 games played, did perfectly fine. 31-19-6, 5 shutouts, 256 goals against average, and a 914 save percentage. He's a young goalie. He just got his extension. I think he could be a Vezina winner. I do. I think he could be a guy who puts up 920 and plays close to 60 games. I mean, it is hard to bet against like the guys who are usually in there, like a Hellebuck. He's going to be right up there, but I just want to be different, and I'm choosing Philip Gustafson.
I mean, with the defense the Wild have in front of him, I wouldn't put it past him at all. I like that pick, honestly. I could definitely see that happening. I mean, when Phil Gustafson's on his game, he's a 930 goalie. Like, this is what the statistics show. I think it's like you said, playing that 60-game stint, I think that would definitely get it for him because he's usually a guy who's played, 45. So.
Yeah, last year was his first full year of the starters workload. Jack Adams, which is basically the you're going to be fired in 3 years award. So since I had Utah making the playoffs, I just chose Andre Turigny. I think that's how you say his name. But it's just, we're surprised you're here, aka you're going to be fired in 3 years. So hopefully he doesn't have the same fate as those previous coaches. But yeah, that's usually how the award goes. Oh, we didn't expect you to be here.
Yeah, and I think this award this year is going to go to Mike Sullivan. I think Mike Sullivan's going to turn around the Rangers and get them back to where they need to be. And I think if we can get the young talent to take the steps that the Rangers need them to take, he gets a lot of credit for that because on paper that lineup doesn't look as good as it should. And I think Mike Sullivan's the kind of coach to do that. So just a safe pick. I think Quenneville's another name to look out for there, obviously. But
yeah,
I went Mike Sullivan.
Yeah, I thought about Quenneville too. I wonder if this is going to be a year where like established coach or coaches had success before actually got, because I did think about Quenneville. Sullivan's a good pick. I wonder, like, John Cooper's never won a Jack Adams before, and again, not that the Jack Adams is the end all be all, but yeah, whatever. Rocket. Who'd you have? I had Austin Matthews. Like I said
Damn
earlier,
right. Damn right. Come on now. He
he's
played
just
hurt
he's
all last year. He had a core
yeah.
injury as a goal scorer, and he had his worst goal scoring year, and he had like 35 goals. This guy's putting up 60 again. I don't care if he doesn't have Marner.
At least bare minimum 50 goals. Yeah,
Yeah,
he could very much
he
score
might have his
60.
first 50 goal season ever of his career. How about
No,
the best 50
except for
goal
we
scorer
are.
never scored 50 goals? No, but I think he's
Art
winning the
Ross,
thing for the Rocket. Oh, sorry.
yeah, and he'll get heart love. Art Ross, I just had McDavid.
Yep, I do too. Especially after that contract got signed. I just
Yeah,
think he's playing like a meme this year.
you already mentioned your President's Trophy winner, Carolina, or no, not Carolina. Sorry, Dallas. I had Vegas. I think Vegas is gonna run the table this year. And spoiler alert, going on to our Stanley Cup final and winter prediction, I have Vegas in a rematch of the 2023 Cup final. Florida makes it for the fourth straight year. They become the first team since the early 80s Islanders to make the Cup final 4 years in a row, but they fall just short. And the only team that's been able to beat them in the last few years, Vegas, wins their second Cup. Constantly Jack Eichel. I did think about Marner, but I went Eichel.
I hate that we were almost exactly the same. I have Vegas versus Toronto. I have the Marner Bowl in the Cup final. And Vegas comes out in 5. Eichel gets the Conn Smythe. I just think Vegas
Yeah,
with Marner is just it's a whole different animal. And even like without Petrangelo, it's gonna make a difference. But
it'll hurt in the playoffs. Regular season, I think
yeah,
they'll be fine, but they're gonna make moves. They're gonna find a way. They
yeah.
always do.
I mean, fuck, Rasmus Anderson's basically saying I'm not going anywhere but Vegas. So just figure out a way to make the cap work and make it happen. Um,
Yeah.
the fact that Hurdle's a 3C on this team is hilarious. Like they're so deep, it's not even funny.
Dude, I
Like
gotta read their
Dorofeev's an
lines again.
afterthought, and he had 36 goals. Like this is Mark Stone was over a point a game, and he played 60 games last year. Like this is such a good team. It's not even funny. And if they can just figure out Edmonton, they're gonna fucking run the table. I think.
The West runs through those two teams. Like
100%.
as much as I like Dallas, I think it's Edmonton or Vegas.
I love regular season Dallas. Postseason Dallas, if Wyatt Johnson has the worst postseason I've ever seen again, you can't even do it. Like, can't all be Rantanen for the Stars.
I just want to go through Vegas's lines again. Barbashev, Eichel, Marner,
Yuck.
Smith, Carlson, Stone,
Yuck.
Dorofeev,
Yuck.
Howden, Sissons, Colasar, and then your defensive pairings. We don't have Petrangelo, McNabb, Theodore, Hannafin, Whitecloud, Lazon, and Korshak, and your goalie is Aiden Hill, and then your backup's Akira Schmid.
And then they're going to sign Carter Hart.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Everyone will love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? At least they will answer questions to that and not kick media members out for no reason. Because if he's innocent, there's nothing to hide, right? Right?
League sucks.
It's just the Anakin and Padme picture. So he's innocent, right? Yeah. Whatever. Anyways, we won't get into that. So those are our main prediction. These are kind of just some I don't know what you would categorize them as, like hot takes or just like, oh, what could happen over the season, despite besides all like the standings, all that stuff. First, I got the Blackhawks hot takes. What did
Let's
you
go.
have
This
for
is what I've
hot
been waiting
takes?
for all fucking show.
This is what we've been waiting for almost an hour and a half. That's what we've been
Love my
waiting
Blackhawks.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm on that. Listen, man. The delusions are kicking in. I told you earlier today. I'm just excited to watch this team 3 times a week again, man. It's so nice.
Yeah.
It's just so relaxing. Even if they're bad, just to have something to turn on 3 times a week. That's fun.
Yeah. Ready to crash out on the podcast in the middle of the year again. Yeah.
Exactly. Like before we start, I just always explain this with sports because, football this weekend, there was like a 9:30 game. It was 2 backups for the Vikings and the Browns. And someone was like, why am I up for this right now? And I was like, you would beg for this in May. And that's kind of how I think about the Blackhawks. Like when we get in the lull moments of the year where it's like, oh, God, like you would kill for the game where they're losing 4-2 in December. You know what I mean? I don't know. Sports are exciting in that way.
To quote 3 days great or 3 days grace pain, I like it rough because I'd rather feel pain than nothing at all. That's sports.
Real.
um so do you want to go first for your Blackhawks hot takes or do you want me to go?
Fire away.
All right. So I think Colton Dock will be a middle six forward and will score 15 goals this year. And maybe because of a result of this, I think they will trade Tyler Bertuzzi at the trade deadline, half retained to Tampa for Connor Geeky. I think Tampa will look to upgrade their forward core, and while Tyler Bertuzzi might not get to go to an original six team and complete the Infinity Gauntlet, but he'll get another chance with another Atlantic team. So those are my hot takes with the Blackhawks.
Okay. I like it. I like it. I actually firmly believe that with Colton Dock. I think he has potential to get 15 this year. If he gets, I mean, he's getting power play time. Like this is, and he
He's a
just
net
knows how to
front
make
presence. Yeah.
the most out of his space. 100%. So my hot takes. I mean, obviously, I got the Renzel one. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's not me being a homer. I legitimately think he's going to get 50 points and be a Calder finalist at minimum. Um, but my other one, and I think this comes back to the thing we always talk about: getting Bedard a winger, getting Bedard top six help. I think this team's going to get to a bind this year at some point. An opportunity is going to arise, and I think they're going to trade Kevin Korchinski for a top six forward. It's some
I thought about
trade.
that. They're going to have to trade one of those defensemen, whether they like it or not. There's
Yep.
going to become a crunch within the next year. They're going to have to do that.
And I guess a semi other hot take is why Kaiser is going to solidify himself as a top four D man on this team, which I think is going to allow them to make that trade. Because I just think the chemistry he and Levshinov had together, if you just glue them together the whole year, I think we're going to get something to work with that pairing.
Yeah, there's just so much depth on the left side, and like there's such a need for a young top six winger. Like that's gonna be your perfect opportunity when you just run out of room for those guys. Like if Kaiser solidifies himself on the team this year and EDM is playing solid bottom pairing minutes and Kevin Korchinski is popping off in Rockford, like whatever one, I think Korchinski would probably minute you the most just because of the pedigree and him being a former top 10 pick. That would probably get you the most. But yeah, there's gonna be a time they had made so many draft picks and they have a lot of quantity in the pool. They're gonna have to trade them and get some high end talent.
Oh, yeah, talent.
Yeah.
Love it.
So next two questions. How many Blackhawks will have 20 goals or more? I put four. I had Bedard, Nazar, Donato, and Tavo. All 20 goals. I think Tavo hits 20 again, and I think Donato doesn't hit 30, but I think he'll get 20 goals this year. And then Bedard and Nazar, those are your main drivers of the offense. I think they will score over 20, if not
I had
30,
five.
especially in the case of Bedard.
I had five. I think Bertuzzi's going to get 20. He always finds a way.
I made that with the caveat in mind that I think they're going to trade him. I think he'll have like 15 goals or something close to at the deadline. So
I gotcha. So in your head canon,
mm-hmm.
there for
Yeah, the crack
um,
pipe.
but yeah, I had the same thoughts. Donato probably regresses to like 20 goals, and then I think Nazar is money in the bank for like 25 this year, and I think Bedard, this will be the year we see him eclipse 30. I mean, if you watch the
I hope
preseason
he
games,
does.
he's ripping that shot left, right, and center, and the second he
He's
figures it out
quicker.
top shelf, it's over. Like all these goals that are getting stopped by the knob of the goalie stick, that can only happen so much.
Next one, kind of similar. How many Blackhawks will have 50 points or more? I had same thing for. I'd say basically the same as the goal scorers. I think Renzel, he's gonna be like right close to it. I have him as like 45 points, but he could be right there. And honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if he gets over 50 points.
I had four. I think Bedard, Nazar, Renzel, and then Teravainen. I think
Mm-hmm.
Donato is going to be in the like 48 point range. I think an ideal season for Donato would be like 24 goals, 24 assists. I think that's like
Yeah,
yeah, I'd be happy with that. I think. I mean, even if his point total's cut in half, it's still 30 something points, and that means he's not playing on the top line. Then in that case,
Yeah, the more I think about it, like I would say, oh well, he's gonna get assists playing with Connor Bedard, but then I can make the same thing for Sam Rinzel. But you know what? I'm just gonna stick with it. But I think both of them will be hovering around 50 points and not much like give or take whatever.
Mhm.
So that's all mainly the Blackhawks stuff. I don't know if you have any other like hot takes or any stats or whatever you think a certain player could reach or who might have a breakout season, but that's all I got. I think Spencer Knight will have a solid season. I think he's gonna have a 9-10 save percentage.
I like that bet. I think my bet is one of, if not both, and Nick Lardis and Moore will be called up by Christmas. I think
Yeah,
that's one of my big ones. And then I think, like I said, Wyatt Kaiser and Artem Levshunov become a very solid second pair to where, maybe Levshunov gets 30 points and Kaiser gets 25 and they're, solid and can play 20 minutes a night. I think that's something that I think is very possible for this team this year.
yeah, solidify the top four. Welcome back, mid 2010s Nashville Predators. So we'll go into the broader NHL. And speaking of the Nashville Predators, first one I have, coach who gets fired first. Going back to what I said earlier, I think the Nashville Predators might be in fire sale mode, especially if they get off to a bad start. And I think Andrew Burnett could be the first coach to be fired.
I like that bet. I like that bet a lot. I didn't think Andrew Burnett. It was very much thinking it because, like you said, I think they're in panic mode right now. But
Yeah, I
I'm
think they're
kind
going to be the
of
team to watch come the deadline for
going.
selling.
Mhm. Oh yeah, 100%. And they have the talent to sell. I mean, Ryan O'Reilly's gonna be a free agent next year. Now's a better time than ever. Thought they were gonna sell him last year, honestly, to New Jersey, but I guess that fell through. So I'm kind of going off the logic of what happened in Chicago last year. Everyone expects people to take the jump, and then when they don't, it leaves you with questions to be had. So I think if the Sharks are in the basement again, they're gonna be the first one to let go of their coach. And Ryan Warfowski or whatever his name is.
Mm-hmm.
I just think
Yeah.
I think when this team's at their best, I don't think that's the guy. So that would be my
Do
guess.
you think? I think the most notable coach that's out there right now was the guy who threw his goalie under the bus. Do you think Pete DeBoer would go back to San Jose for another stint?
I don't know about that. Man, that would be something. I don't think that's going to happen though. I could
No,
see,
but it
like you
was an
said,
interesting
Burnett getting
thought.
fired and DeBoer going there. That I could see.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a very good point. I did think about that. Yeah.
yeah, Orca Want comes back from China. Get excited.
No. Yeah. Ni hao. Ni
Coming to San Jose. Oh God.
hao.
From the Shanghai Sharks to the San Jose Sharks. Get excited.
That's crazy. A trade you think will happen this season? The Florida Panthers, I think, are going to make a move with Alex Barkov out, and another team that's going to be intriguing to watch if they sell off is the Pittsburgh Penguins. Man, Malkin to Florida, doesn't that just seem perfect?
Malkin's on my list. The two that I think are going to happen this year are Malkin and Dougie Hamilton. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think at some point this year the Devils got to move off a defenseman. I think Hamilton's the one you move off of, especially with Nemec needing a contract. And I look at
Yeah,
teams like the Ducks. I look at teams like the Sharks. I look at teams like the Kraken.
and
They
the
would definitely
Blackhawks.
use.
No.
They would definitely use a Dougie Hamilton. There's a lot of teams that could use a Dougie Hamilton, and I think that could lead to New Jersey really, really filling out their lineup very well. But that also comes down to health. But I do think if I had to bet at the end of the year, Dougie Hamilton's traded.
Mm-hmm. I think even more intriguing, I put a surprising player who gets traded. And so I mentioned Seattle as a team that could that could have a fire sale. I wonder, since he has not been great since he signed his contract, but there's also still a lot of on-tap potential there. I have Manny Beniers as a player who I think could be traded out of nowhere. Just looking at his stats, he had his Calder the first year, 22-23, 57 points in 80 games. But then 23-24, 37 points, 77 games, and then last year only 43 points in 82 games. Not that it's horrible, but I just wonder because they need defense. They have Shane Wright, who has taken a step, and you have Berkeley Cat. And I wonder if a young defenseman comes along, they make a trade there.
I
So,
like
aka
that.
Berkeley Cat, or not Berkeley Cat, Matty Beniers for Kevin Korchinski. Let's go.
Also, like Jacob Bryan's in the prospect pool now. Like they
Yeah,
have
that's true.
options. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking Shane Wright, honestly. That was one of the ones that was on my
Either
list.
one of them, really. Yeah.
So I'm kind of going off of the article that came out this summer about this team. And, you know, a couple players came up that said they were very disgruntled. And one of them ended up getting traded. But I think and the players were disgruntled because they're not winning. So I think if Buffalo is off to a bad start again.
Yeah.
You can't move Darlene.
No.
I think Owen Power might be on the move. And yeah, he makes $8.3 million. He's 22 years old. So not the kind of players that you normally want to trade. But
no, not really.
We've seen in the past, if a player is disgruntled enough, he will be moved. And I think Owen Power is being very cordial with what's going on in Buffalo. But little things like that don't leak just to leak. And when Peterka was having all that shit happen in the offseason, Owen Power's name came up as one of the players that was very disgruntled with where the team was. And if Buffalo is in the basement again around Christmas, I think you explore it. And maybe you explore it with Seattle. Maybe you go get a Matty Beniers for Owen Power. Maybe you trade the number 1 and number 2 pick in that draft.
I didn't even think about that.
Maybe you flip it. Maybe you change fortunes. But, like, I just think you don't trade Tage. You don't trade Darlene.
No.
Power's the next.
And if Tage ever comes available, Blackhawks should be.
Oh, my God. Like, just trade whatever
every day.
Anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
30 other teams.
You have Tage Thompson at $7 million a year, and your team sucks. You're terrible.
That's one of the best contracts in the NHL.
Yeah, it's 100%. Top 5 in the league. It's crazy. He's a 50 goal scorer when he's healthy. Like,
should be on Team USA, but
don't worry, Frank Nazar will fucking avenge him.
Yeah.
Rest now, brother. I'll see you in Valhalla.
Avenge me.
But yeah,
is that all you had? That was like Matty Beniers was my main guy.
Owen Power's my big one, and then if I had to pick another one, and the Ducks stink, I think they're going to move one of Zellweger or Mitnyakov for whatever piece they might need. Maybe it's a right-handed defenseman. Maybe it's like Mitnyakov or Dougie Hamilton. I don't know. I don't know.
Interesting.
But, like, if they suck and they got to sign Gauthier, Zellweger, Carlson, and Mitnyakov, I feel like one of those pieces moves out.
Yeah. Just going back to Nashville, I wonder if things really get bad. Would Philip Forsberg get traded? Could Roman Josi be traded?
Finally. Josi getting traded would be wild.
I think Philip Forsberg is more likely, but I wonder if there would ever be a chance where Roman Josi just gets fed up and like, I want to go win a Stanley Cup.
That ain't happening in Nashville. Like LA. Holy crap.
I mean, you put him on any contender and that'll just boost
Utah. That might put Utah over the top if you get Roman Josi. But it's in division, so that's gonna be tough. But
yeah, I'm just thinking, could you imagine if like Colorado could somehow swing that? You have Josi
and Burns on the same pairing. What year is it?
2015 defensive pairing.
Yo, we can put Gerard with Josi again. Get excited. Welcome back, 2017 Nashville Predators.
Yeah, I mean, insert contending team. Yeah, he'll either one of Forsberg or Josi will put him over the top. And I was just thinking, like, could Nashville trade Marchessault back to Vegas? Could Nashville trade Stamkos back to Tampa? There's just so many. I think they're going to be a team to watch when it comes to the trade deadline, especially if they're doing bad. Because I think if McKenna pops off in college this year, I think a lot of teams are going to pull the shoot and sell. So that's where I'm thinking from.
It's a good thought process. Oh, can I put
We'll
another
have
dark horse
first.
in there?
Oh,
Sorry.
go for it. Yeah.
If we're gonna go off and like if teams are stinking and you sell off for McKenna, and it'll go back to my hot take of the Hawks need to trade for a top 6 forward. I think if the Islanders are really serious about this, there's a Matt Barzal trade to be had to the Blackhawks. I genuinely think that's possible somehow, in some world, in some capacity. I think that's very possible. And the Hawks have the assets to do it, which I think is what matters.
Not to make this into trades we like to see, but I'm going to do it anyways. Team that needs another center and just lock their franchise winger up for 8 years, Matt Barzal to Minnesota.
Or back to Minnesota.
Oh, I would hope too.
Either one would help them immensely.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if we're talking about teams that like off-season wise, man, one of those forwards on Anaheim and Minnesota, and one of those defensemen, like Juracek for someone. There's moves. There might be moves to be had in the offseason, depending on what teams end up not making the playoffs.
Yeah. Who do you think will have the first overall pick?
Are we going based off worst or based off of lottery bullshit?
A little bit of both. Like, I think the Penguins are going to have a bad year. I don't know if Crosby's going to be moved necessarily, but I don't think they're going to be good. And every 21 years, man, I think they're going to get the first overall pick this year. It's them or the Bruins.
Holy crap. Yeah, I picked the Bruins. I just think the league loves seeing Boston be good. And let's get Pastrnak as winger or center for the rest of his career. Even darker horse. Philly.
Nashville.
Philly.
Oh. Philly.
Put him with Mishkov in their backyard in Penn State. That'd be sick.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if you went to Calgary, like that team's completely different with Gavin McKenna.
Yeah. Who wins gold at the Olympics? We'll do like official predictions, but just as of right now, I have the hottest of hot takes, I think, for this one. So, in 1998, Dominik Hasek dragged the Czech Republic kicking and screaming to a gold medal. I think he only allowed like 1 or 2 goals over the tournament. And I think most people are going to choose Canada and USA. There is a player on this country who I think could drag them to a gold medal, and it's insane. I think Germany is going to win a gold medal. I think Leon Draisaitl is going to drag that team to a gold medal. I know their goalie is probably going to be Philip Grubauer, but they're going to have Moritz Seider on defense. You're going to have JT Paterka. You're going to have Lucas Reichel. Like, there's going to be some guys. I don't know. I just wanted to go with the hottest of hot takes, Germany gold medal. Fuck it. And just disrupt everything.
You've left me speechless. You put your regs in Phil's basket willingly. Wow. Listen, I applaud it, honestly, because I could totally see Draisaitl doing it.
There's one guy who can do it. It's that guy.
It'd be Leon. But
I can't forget Dominic Cahoon and Tim Stützle as well. Literally, like, yes,
Timmy Stutz. Timmy Stutz. But and they got a bunch of kids, I'm pretty sure, as well. Like, going to be drafted this year. But
Nico Sturm too. Yeah, I already mentioned Dominic Cahoon.
I don't even care if I'm being a homer, though. This is the best shot the U.S. has had at a gold medal
I think they have the most pressure to win. Like
100%.
I think they got the best team.
It's warranted pressure because the talent has never been higher for the country.
Mm-hmm.
And this has been the trajectory for the last 7 years, and we're finally going to get to see it in firsthand. We got a taste of it at the Four Nations. And
Mhm.
I'm hoping that they learn from the Four Nations because there's stuff to be learned and there was stuff to take from it. One
Like
being
playing
just
Kyle Connor.
play Kyle Connor and let the Kachucks do what they do best. Like Jesus. And don't fucking whatever. Fine. It's just the deepest the roster's ever been. Goaltending,
Yeah.
defense, centers, wings. Um, the fact that, you look at a player like Tage Thompson and he might not even make the team should just speak to the depth that's on Team USA. And Canada's always had that depth as well. They still have the depth in net. They still have the depth in defense. They still net's probably the one point you can look at them for
Yeah,
the
I was
first
gonna
time in a
say
long time and
it's
say,
a little bit of
but
question.
Binnington has proven that he can step up to that role. So that's why I say that. But past Binnington that's up for discussion. But that's the first time that's been the case for Canada in God knows how long. That's one of the only reasons.
Oh, we
I
don't
think
have a Hall of Fame goalie in net.
Oh
Oh,
no!
shucks.
And then Sweden's painfully deep at
Yeah.
forward. Their defense, I feel like Sweden's one of those teams that really didn't benefit from this 8-year drought of 10-year drought of going to
No,
the
we
Olympics
never got to
because
see Hedman Carlson. Well, we might. I don't know.
there was a time where you could have saw those two with Lindstrom on the same team, and we didn't. So shame, coulda, shoulda, woulda. But they are still very good, and I think goaltending is a question mark for them as well. Mark, I would imagine, would be the starter for them, unless it's someone else.
Maybe
Markstrom
well,
or
if it's going
Gustafson.
based on my pick, Gustafson. Yeah, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
probably
but
like Lisa Mark. Yeah.
they could definitely steal some games. I think it just comes down to if the top offensive players can show up. Because I think the depth is good, but the high end talent U.S. and Canada have over them. And then Finland, I think it's just they're very top heavy.
They're gonna be there. They're gonna be in the bronze medal
Yeah,
game.
it'll
Like
be the
they're
one
gonna
year Saros
grind
is
their way
cracked out of
there.
his fucking mind.
Mhm.
Just fully expect it. And then Czechia is a dark horse.
Switzerland,
Or
don't sleep on
Slovakia.
them either. Switzerland always gives Canada trouble in international tournaments. They're the
Slovakia.
thorn in their side. Yeah, so like there's just so much good talent everywhere.
It's gonna be fun. I can't wait for February.
It really does suck that there's no Russia. We won't get to see won't get to see Ovechkin, Malkin,
Kucherov,
Kucherov,
Panarin.
Kaprizov, Panarin. Yeah, they even
They would
like
have the best goaltending in the entire thing
yeah,
if they were
yeah. Defense is no slouch either. Like they would have Sergachev, Provorov,
they probably
Orlovs.
benefited from that 10-year gap because if you look 10 years ago, Russia's defense is not what it is today.
No.
A lot better talent on that back end. But, I mean,
Yeah.
like, think about it. Like a decade ago, it was Markov or it was Andre Markov. That was it.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Um yeah, it does feel like it's gonna be another Canada USA game, but I feel like there's just one of those teams that's not gonna make it and everyone's gonna be pissed. Like
There's enough
but
talent for something to get messed up.
mm-hmm.
And it doesn't
Especially
have to be the Sweden or the Finland. It's going to be a
no.
Czechia. It's going to be a Denmark. It's going to be a
Denmark too.
Germany.
Freddie Anderson, Nick Ehlers, Borkstrand.
Yep.
Like again, like you might
There's
look at these
talent.
countries, they can maybe not win the tournament, but they can win a
Make
game
some
and just
noise.
throw a wrinkle. Yeah, make some noise, disrupt things. Absolutely.
Cannot wait. Cannot wait. It's never been
Oh,
this
me
much
too.
talent in the Olympics.
We,
Usually it's
we
just a
gotta
couple teams.
we gotta find a way to do more
4
podcasts.
a.m. live
Wait,
stream,
when that
US Canada.
yeah, but I just I think there's a good chance Canada. I also think there's a great it's U.S. to
Canada's
me. I
forwards are
just think
so hard to bet against,
mhm,
man. Like, fuck. It's McDavid and
they have
Crosby and McKinnon.
to me
Jesus.
they point Reinhardt. I think if Bedard has a hot start to the year, he can make the team. I think
He tried
Selke
to make
makes
a
the
good
team.
impression at the orientation, it sounded like.
Yeah, I
Tom
yeah, but
Wilson,
to
top
me,
line.
hell yeah, let's go. And Sam Bennett and but I think it's Team USA's tournament to lose. I think they're the most complete team from back end out. Yeah. And I think it would be a major disappointment. Like Canada will suck, and there we will call for like a national emergency if Canada
National
loses.
state of emergency.
Yeah, exactly. But to me, if I like, and there's still an immense amount of pressure, but to me, I think there's more
Oh,
pressure
it's
on the US
USA
to
because the
win.
talent's never been
Mhm.
better. It's just put it simple.
Yeah.
Last time they were bringing Ryan Callahan to this. There was a time where they brought Jack Johnson to this. Times have changed.
Wasn't Ryan
Now
Whitney
they
on the
bring Seth
2010
Jones.
team? Yeah, let's go. Stanley Cup champion Seth
They bring
Jones.
Jackson Lacombe.
Yeah, let's go. Hot take, I think Frank Nazar makes the team. It'd be so cool.
If he's as cracked as we think he's gonna be this year,
I'll say this. What do you think is more likely? Bredard making Canada or Nazar making USA?
Bernard making Canada.
That's a tough one. Yeah,
I think so.
I think if he has a good start, yeah, but if he doesn't, they're just gonna look for guys who can play bottom six roles, quote unquote.
I guess Nazar could morph into a bottom six role better than Bedard,
Yeah.
to be fair. But
Yeah.
if anything, they'll bring Vlasic as an extra. And that'll be the guy that goes. Because they're like, we just need a guy who's going to be like our ninth defenseman.
Yeah.
Come along for the ride.
Yeah, come to Italy.
Who's going to be the Marty St. Louis this year?
For Canada or just in general?
Steven Stamkos again? Never going to make the Olympic team?
It really, yeah, we were just robbed in 2018. And
what if he goes off to make the Olympic team?
It's such
That'd be something.
Granted, Jonathan Burris might have an outside show making a team. I don't know. There's so much talent to go around.
All I know is that they need to put McDavid with Reinhardt and Point. I think that line would be gross.
I think you can
put Crosby and McKinnon. Yuck.
Yeah, you can put any of those guys together. I think Marchand makes the team still.
I was just gonna say that Marchand has to make the team. I think back end. I think there's more questions. Like,
yeah,
Harley, I think will make it just off of what happened last year and the playoffs.
I think those shot I don't know if Sanheim or Pareko makes it, but like I think Theodore's.
Yeah, Sanheim made it last time though.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, what if I got? Yeah, there's some interesting ones. Like Bouchard. Does Bouchard make the team? You have to think, right?
He has to, man. Come on, you got a right side of McCarr and Bouchard, and then like you got.
Do they bring
Theodore, Devon Taves? I like Doughty, man. Like as an extra guy, yeah, definitely not as a main role guy.
The leadership too.
Yeah. I think like it's only him and Crosby that would still be left over from the 2010 team.
And then they're gonna bring Carter Hart. No, they're not. They're gonna bring Sam Montembeau. That actually is probably more likely. Who else would they bring in goal besides like Aiden Hill? Oh wait, they can't bring Logan Thompson because they don't get along.
No,
that's actually so ridiculous.
And Pete DeBoer is the head coach, or is one of the assistant coaches too.
Jesus, you think Logan Thompson makes it, right?
You would think so, but yeah, like I think of the most of any countries, there's a lot of inner politicking. So I think they're just going to bring the same goalies that they did last time, Binnington and Hill and Montembeau, and to their
Corey Crawford, Brady and Carey Price.
That really is crazy because 2010 they had 3 Hall of Famers with Luongo, Brodeur, and Fleury, and it's like in 2016 you still had Carey Price, who's a Hall of Famer. I think Braden Holtby is a Hall of Famer, and Corey Crawford more boring.
Really
I don't
good.
think he's a Hall of Famer, but a very good goalie. They chose him out over Holtby to play games. So
take that, liberals. Take that. Take that.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Smoke it.
Oh, one more hot take. Marc-Andre Fleury signs with the Edmonton Oilers mid-season.
Stop. Like, just stop. Stop yourself. Stop yourself. That's horrible.
Hey,
this is what we're gonna do with that $39 in cap space meeting.
No, it's $834. Marc-Andre Fleury to an $834 contract.
He's gonna make minimum wage for us. Let's go.
Yeah.
Oh no!
The NHLPA loves the Edmonton Oilers right now.
Oh god!
Good times, good times. Do you have anything else more to add?
I don't. I'm very excited for the season to start.
I am too. And you know what? I'll be honest. That's not my number one priority right now. You want to know why?
It's BJ season.
If I may, I prefer BJ over a Yank.
Callum,
I don't know.
close out
Sorry?
tomorrow, bro. What time's the game tomorrow?
It is. So the unfortunate thing is I have to work, so I won't be able to watch either game because I
No!
will be, yeah. But so Blackhawks game is 3 o'clock my time, and then the Blue Jays game is at 6 o'clock my time. So literally, had I gotten the day off and been able to watch the games, it would have been the perfect doubleheader because the Blackhawks game would have finished in time, and then I would be able to watch the Blue Jays take on the New York Yankees and hopefully sweep them out of the playoffs.
I hope so. Uh, Jenkins lose.
Yankees lose, yeah, but to quote Kobe Bryant, job's not finished, but also like those first two games were electric and couldn't have gone any better. Like the only time where I felt stress in those games was one, the first inning, because you just never know what you're gonna expect. Like I think Aaron Judge got on base, but that was about it. And then like Gossman was sailing through. I think he only threw 50 pitches in 5 innings. Vlad Jr. got a home run in the bottom of the first, and then Alejandro Kirk got a home run in the bottom of the second, and then top of the sixth, bases loaded, no outs. Aaron Judge up the plate, 3-2 count, swings out a splitter that was way out of the zone, and the only run the Yankees got that game was by a walk, and then they take Gosman out, bring Varland in, who can throw over 100, 101 right down the cock to Stan, swings right through it, and then that was it. Like, that could have been the Yankees' chance to just blow that game open, and I felt like that's when the momentum flipped. And then bottom of the seventh, bottom of the eighth, the Blue Jays already got to their bullpen, and then they got one inning with 4 runs. They just were pouring it on, and they had to win that game because the Yankees played a 3-game series against the Red Sox, which was the ideal case for the Blue Jays. You want them to use as many starting pitchers and bullpen arms as they can in a close series, and went pretty well according to plan. And with their fourth starter in and your ace Kevin Gausman and them not winning a playoff game since the day after I turned 16, they had to win that game, and they did. And yesterday game, that's where I'm like, oh shit, this team might have something special here, because Yankees brought in Max Fried, who, even though he's kind of hit or miss in the playoffs, he's still a very good pitcher. He could throw a good game. And the performance of a lifetime for their rookie Trey Savage, who they drafted last year, started the year in low A ball, playing in front of hundreds of people, and has only thrown 14 major league innings, came up, struck out 11 Yankees, former MVPs, in over 5 1/3 no-hit innings, only one walk against. I think there was another base runner on an error, but about as good electric of a start as you could have in your rookie postseason. Set a franchise record for strikeouts by a Blue Jay pitcher in general, which is crazy. And then the offense just like started right away. 2-run home run in the bottom of the second, and then they got Max Fried out in the fourth inning before he even recorded out, and then Vladdy grand slam just completely blows it open. They hit a couple more home runs, get up to 13. They used their lower leverage bullpen arms, and it kind of got a little rocky there, I think, in the sixth and seventh inning, 6-7. But they still won the game 13-7. And
Oh, we almost went
and
2 hours without it, man.
I feel like I snuck one in there earlier. I could be wrong, but yeah, now they got a 2-0 lead. You got Shane Bieber, former Cy Young winner, to hopefully close it out in the Bronx. Carlos Rodon is going to be the Yankees starting pitcher. I expect the Yankees to win a game, but also I expected them to win last game. So job's not finished yet, but a win tomorrow, quick and easy work, and then hopefully the Mariners and the Tigers are tied right now. You hope they just battle it out for 5 games, especially in the case of the Tigers, and they got to use Scooble twice. So yeah, I had fun talking about the Blue Jays last podcast, so I kind of just wanted to rant. Not even
You
rant,
have
just
to. It was
talk
two
about them.
awesome
Yeah.
wins. Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Also, shout out the Mariners. It's their first win in the first
dude.
win at home in the playoffs since like 2001. So
2001 when they had 116 wins and they scored their first run at home in Seattle since like I was a year old, like a day after my first birthday. Like, because the Mariners did beat the Blue Jays in 2022. That was done in Toronto. The only home game they played, because they broke a 21-year streak, they played an 18-inning game against the Houston Astros, did not score a single run, and got swept out of the playoffs. So there you go. Win their first division, and now they finally score a run and win a home game. But that's all.
they all come together. And honestly, they kind of blew game one. But
Yeah. I just, again, job's not finished, but I just think if the Blue Jays can sweep it, I think they're coming out of the American League. National League, that's a different story because the Dodgers are up 2-0 right now over the Phillies. Cubs and Brewers are tied 3-3 right now. I think the Brewers are going to take that series. They're probably going to face the Dodgers. If they do get to the World Series, I would say it's the Dodgers. But yeah, again, take care of business.
The power of friendship.
Yeah, even though like Blue Jays also have a pretty big budget, like $250 million. But we don't talk about that. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about it because I'm like, holy shit. One of my teams is finally doing well, and I'm like, there's got to be some kind of catch to this. Like, there's got to be something bad happening. But no, I believe in this team. It feels like there's something special happening. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. showing why he got that $500 million contract. Not only hitting home runs, made an amazing unassisted double play, just dove out, caught the ball, and then ran to first. And then you're getting great performances out. It's so fun watching like casual Americans who don't know much about the Jays, and I get why. Just like seeing all the good players on the Jays, it's been awesome to see. It's also been cool to see Joe Davis call the Blue Jays games. I'm a big Joe Davis truther, so yeah, that's all I wanted to say on the Blue Jays. Yeah, and just that feeling I got from them winning those two first games. I can't wait till the Blackhawks hopefully one day make it back to the playoffs and start winning playoff games like that, because I was so excited to talk about the Blue Jays, even though we did it towards the end. Yeah, I can't wait until the Blackhawks start doing that. Hopefully sometime before the decade ends.
Fingers crossed, man. I hope so.
Drop my phone. Anyways, we're pretty much at 2 hours. Let's wrap this up. Any closing thoughts?
Final score prediction tomorrow. Blackhawks lose 4-2.
I was just gonna say 4-2. I think it's close towards the end. 3-2 Panthers, but then they get an empty net with like 30 seconds left.
Now I will say I think Frank Nazar gets the opening goal of the season, and the Hawks will get the first goal. But
I think
or Sam Reinhart just fucking pantses the entire team for Florida.
Yeah, I could see a Sam Reinhart contract. Speaking of Sam R's, I think Sam Renzel is going to get the first goal tomorrow. First NHL goal in Florida.
Dude,
Let's go.
I hope so. That'd be awesome.
He's so due, and really so is Lev Shunov. I think if any one of them gets their first goal, that'd be cool. But I'm going with Sammy Rins.
Sammy Rin and Yerzel.
Rins, wash, repeat. So yeah, for the first week, I'm gonna be optimistic. I think they go 2-1-0. I would love that. I think they're lose Florida, but I think they could beat Boston, Montreal, especially Boston.
I think you can beat Boston too.
All righty. Thank you for tuning in to the podcast today. I don't think we've ever gone over our predictions at the end of the season. This season I want to try to do that, so I'll try to set a reminder, and I want to see how right or wrong our prediction will be.
We're gonna be so wrong.
But we'll get one in there.
The Cup, clearly.
And that's all that will matter. So thank you for tuning in. Be sure to smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, notification bell if you're listening on YouTube, and if you're listening to us on your preferred podcast platform, whether that's Spotify or Apple Podcasts, yada, yada, yada. Be sure to give us a 5-star rating there. So for Pierce and Dylan, take it easy. We'll talk another time. Go Blackhawks and go Blue Jays. Woo!